Hey everybody, welcome back to the Magic Channel. My name is David, and today I want to teach you a trick that you can do with a Svengali deck. Now, why am I picking the Svengali deck? Well, chances are if you were given a magic kit for Christmas, or maybe an uncle or an aunt bought you a trick deck, it might have been a Svengali deck. And usually those cheap decks don't come with very good instructions, or the instructions they give you are really hard to understand. So I wanted to give you a couple of tricks on this channel that you can do with this deck so that you can feel a little bit more professional. Some cool tricks, all right? Really quickly, if you look through the deck face up, you'll see that every single other card in this deck is the same. So this is a forcing deck. And we've talked about forcing before on the Magic Channel. And if you haven't seen those videos, you can look them up in the forcing playlist. So quite simply, what you're going to do with this deck is you're going to force the card. Okay, forcing means you're going to make the spectator take the card. You're going to force the card that is the same throughout your deck. So you can see that throughout my deck, my force card is the 7 of Hearts. So in my case, when I do a trick for somebody, I want to force them the 7 of Hearts. And there's plenty of ways you can do that. There's more than one way you can force a card from a Svengali deck. Of course, I'm not going to be able to go into all of them, but I can cover one in this video today. A Svengali deck is also called a 50-50 deck, or a one-way force deck. 50-50, of course, means half the deck are the same cards, the other half are in different cards. One-way force deck means it only forces one card, and that's all it does. And if you want to see what that looks like, if you're holding the deck with the top facing up, and you grab from the back and riffle like this, you'll see that every single card is the same. If I do it the reverse way and go from the front back, then you see that every card is different. So let's look at a trick you can do right now. Today I'm going to teach you a little trick called treasure chest. Treasure chest is really simple to do. You're only going to need a couple of things. The first thing you're going to need is your old Svengali deck. The second thing you're going to need is just a bunch of your old junk or garbage decks that you have lying around the house. Maybe you have old casino decks, or maybe you were doing torn and restored tricks a long time ago and you've got some decks that are incomplete. Just grab a big stack of those and you're going to use those. And then the last thing you're going to need, of course, will be a shoebox, and this will be your treasure chest. Okay? So to do your setup, the first thing you're going to need to do is grab your Svengali deck and just quickly remind yourself what your force card is. Your force card is always going to be directly on top. In my case, it's the Jack of Diamonds. Okay? So you got your force card, and now what you're going to do is you're going to go through all these junk decks, all right, and you're going to find your force card in all of them. All right, so go through each one of your decks, find that force card, and you're going to turn it over and reverse it in every single one of your decks. So there's my force card. I'm going to reverse it in this deck and put it back in the box. Now, I've already gone ahead and done that with all these other decks. Now you're going to grab your shoebox, and you're going to take all these decks, and you're just going to randomly, haphazardly, just throw them in the box, all crazy, willy-nilly. All right? So you have that, and then you take your Svengali deck, and you place that right on top. You seal the box up, and you just forget about it. You know, you place it someplace up on a bookshelf, and you're good to go. So let's say you have your spectator, you're doing some tricks, and then your spectator says, hey, show me something else. And you're like, okay, I know, let me hang on. And you go over to the bookshelf and you just grab this box down from on top, and maybe it's got some dust on top, and you kind of open it up and you show them, you kind of shake all the decks up and you show them, look, this is a box of my old decks. You know, I haven't seen this in a while, and I used to collect decks, and I just have a bunch of them. You know, let's try something. So you grab your Svengali, okay, and you're just going to do a simple force. You could riffle all the cards down to the table and do a force that way. You could do a riffle force. Riffle force is really easy with a Svengali deck. And once you force your card, you put the box away. And then I usually pretend like I'm going to do something else, and then I kind of hesitate and say, actually, you know what? Here, let's try this. And you take this deck, and you kind of toss it in the back where they're not going to go for it.
right? And you give the box a good shake, and you say, here, reach in. You reach in and grab any deck you want. So they feel pretty confident at this moment. They can, move the decks around, and they just grab whatever deck. You got 10, 15 decks in there, and they grab the deck that they like. And from this moment on, I don't touch the deck again. I don't touch this box. I don't touch the spectator's hands. I make sure that this whole miracle takes place, in this little bubble. It happens in the spectator's hands, and I usually have them lay their hands on the deck, concentrate on their card. I don't lead them through any verbiage that might have them reveal the card. I don't want to surprise. I don't want to ruin the surprise, and I also don't tell them to picture their card flipping over in the deck, because again, I think that's giving away the ending. All right. So you just have them concentrate on their card, and really from this moment on, they open the deck and they take the cards out. And if they take them out right side up or upside down, don't tell them how to do this. Just let everything happen in their hands. They could spread through the cards themselves. They could ribbon spread them on the table, and then of course they're going to see the card that they selected from the deck they selected. Everything took place in their hands. There it is, a little treasure and a little miracle.
All right, so one last thing. A lot of those magic kits, they come with really convoluted instructions. What you're going to want to do is you're going to buy a magic book. Buy a book on card tricks that's going to teach you how to do hundreds of tricks with a regular deck, hundreds of tricks with a Svengali deck. I would recommend the Encyclopedia of Card Tricks. You can find it on Amazon or your local magic trick store. Thanks. I'll see you guys next time.